Nigeria is not left out of the frantic search for a cure or sustainable treatment for the coronavirus. Now, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control says it has received several indigenous formulation applications for the treatment of COVID-19 from researchers in the country. And NAFDAC says these remedies must go through internationally recognized process of approval and, where applicable, clinical trials to ascertain their efficacy. Many have taken to using homegrown herbal remedies to relieve some symptoms associated with COVID-19, such as fever and cough. Joining me now on Skype from Ile-Ife is the Professor of Pharmacognosy and former Director, Drug Research and Production Unit, Obafemi Awolowo University, Professor Joseph Agbedaunsi. Professor, it's good to have you join me this morning. Now, I know you've been following the reaction when anytime we hear that a new drug has emerged, whether in Nigeria or any part of the continent or the world, people are very quick to say, thank God, especially when it comes to within Nigeria. But from the reports we're getting from NAFDAC and other health officials, certainly it's not a bad thing for all those to come, but we can't just deploy those yet. Talk to us basically, how is the coordinated effort towards utilizing these drugs, and how more time needed?
Good morning. Thank you very much. It is really gratifying. It is really good to know that some remedies are being developed for the management of this contagious disease, and which is causing lots of morbidity and mortality, not only in our country, but all over the world. Yes, and it's good that people are submitting their remedies to NAFDAC. And it is really very good that these remedies are to be subjected to scientific investigation before one can really recommend that, yes, they are efficacious in the management of COVID-19. So these are efforts that are being made, some scientifically, others they just get the thing and they just claim that they have gotten a remedy. But I have my doubts, in the sense that before one can really claim to have an efficacious remedy, you have to carry out tests to show its efficacy. And unfortunately in Nigeria, we don't have that lab, P3 or P4 virology lab. It is this laboratory where the virus can be stored. It will be a biosafety lab, and all this, we can now test those remedies on those in those laboratories. We have, on our own end, we have a remedy, but we are collaborating with a friend in Germany, through which we can test for the efficacy. We can have empirical data that yes, our remedy is good in the management of COVID-19.
All right, Professor, do you have concerns that because the people, the masses, Nigerians or even Africans or anywhere in the world, people are very desperate right now? Do you have concerns that, especially within Nigeria, some people could rush to want to have a taste of some of these drugs, or even those who are claiming to record this breakthrough could be administering these drugs as they await the formal approval? Do you have those concerns?
Yes, one should have those concerns. You see, before a remedy, there are lots of remedy. It doesn't really have to be a drug. Take, for example, if one has symptom of cold, catarrh, or whatever, or sore throat, or one of those symptoms, one of the things that one can do is just get a methyl salicylate, like rub, like mentholatum, like all this, put in hot water and do hot fermentation. Cover your head with towel, and it will help you. That is one remedy. If there are drugs actually, but the danger in what you have said is that one is not really very, very sure that whatever you. Another thing in any remedy, you must look at the target. What are you targeting? For a virus of this nature, you either target the immune system, get things that will have immunostimulatory effects, so that will boost your immune system, and there are quite a number of those remedies. There are some remedies that target the virus itself, but for these remedies that target the virus, you need those laboratories to be able to tell you actually that those things are really very effective, the remedies.
Okay. Now, the drug that was the herbal drug that was sent to many countries from Madagascar, the COVID organic. Nigeria took delivery of one of those as it was sent as a gift for Nigeria to test. And as it is, we remember the president saying certainly it's going to be subjected through all the necessary trial. Can you talk to us basically how far that is going right now?
I'm sorry, I may not be able to tell you how far it's going, because the testing is not being carried out in our own laboratory. So probably NAFDAC should be able to tell you that. But one thing I know is that, you see, the ingredients that, take for example, one of the major ingredients of the Madagascar remedy is Artemisia annua. So, and we have seen that even using anti-malaria drugs, I wouldn't want to promote any drug, taking use of anti-malaria drugs that contain this ACT, artemisinin combination therapy, using them, you find out that that contains artemether. One had seen that it had helped tremendously. So that's the reason why the Madagascar drug could be effective. But honestly, I believe that one needs this lab, P3, P4 laboratory. That is the only time that one can subject any drug, any remedy whatsoever to test on COVID-19. And that's what we are trying to do by collaborating with our partner in Germany.
Okay. Now, share with us, I know you are not the DG of NAFDAC, but share with us basically in this phase of COVID-19, what kind of interface, from your understanding, exists between the NCDC and NAFDAC when it comes to those who are reporting breakthroughs and what they have to go through to get approval, and the kind of support they need from NAFDAC and NCDC?
Thank you. From the last report that I gathered from NAFDAC, I learned that 21 remedies had been submitted to NAFDAC for listing, for investigation, and subsequent listing. That's the last. But, I believe that others might also be submitting theirs. And the first thing remains, just like I said earlier, I don't know how NAFDAC is going to test these drugs to effectively say that these remedies are active. I don't know. Because of lack of this P3 and P4 virology laboratory in our country. But they may have the model that they want to use to test. But in our own case, we are going to use a model that we are going to test it on we are going to test it on the virus itself, and we'll be able to see whether our remedy is active or not. So what NAFDAC is going to use, I don't know, actually. But I know that probably they have, since they say that they want to, people are submitting to them and they are the regulatory organization in Nigeria, I believe that they may have one model or the other that they will use to test for the efficacy of these drugs.
All right, all right. Professor, you are in that industry, or that field, so you are at least in the best position to advise the public one way or the other. Now, some of the drugs, like one of the latest ones from the reports we got, it went viral at the time. I think it's called Paxlovid Coxine or so. One of the latest ones. We understand NAFDAC had given it approval as giving it the NAFDAC number, but it's not saying that it is a cure for COVID-19. But if it is given approval and given NAFDAC number, so at what point is it given the number and certified, and at what point is it not okay to be treated or to be used to treat COVID-19? And in addition to that, who really should be the one to say this is good to go for COVID-19? Is it the NCDC or maybe the Ministry of Health?
Thank you. Based on my interaction with NAFDAC, because we have been able to submit 3 herbal remedies to NAFDAC for listing, what NAFDAC does is that when you submit, after you have met all their regulations, and which are really very, very tedious, after you have met their regulations, they will now send you, they will now list it, but they will tell you that it has not been tested. So and it has not been proven. So if you use it, you are on your own. So if there is any difficulties, or NAFDAC will not be responsible, because it has to be on the label that it has not been proven. So that is just it. So that is what NAFDAC does. And the fact still remains that, you see, there are a lot of things that goes on with registration of drugs. Especially, you find out that there are things that you really have to look for. The efficacy, does it work? That is number one. Number two, what are you targeting? For the case of virus, are you targeting the immunity? That is, has it got stimulatory activity? Or you are targeting the virus? So this has to be well known. And another thing is that there are lots of infections, opportunistic infections, that are associated with the disease. Take, for example, just like we said, you can have like catarrh, you can have sore throat, you can have this, you can have diarrhea, you can your taste buds might become inactive and things like that. You see, when you have this, or you might be having cough, you might be having pneumonia, you might be having fever. So when you have all this, there are remedies. Take, for example, if you have diarrhea, the very first thing that one should do is to use this ORS, oral rehydration solution. That is the very first, because if you don't and your electrolyte balance in
All right. I'm afraid we're losing your audio. We have to leave you here now. Professor Joseph Agbadan-Hosi from the University of Ile-Ife. Thank you so much for enlightening us this morning on how these things work. We really appreciate you.